Welcome to the Living Superfood Show. My name is Umoya, and I'm here with my co-host, the one and only Master Chef, Health and Food Scientist, Kidi Owadu. How you doing today, sir?
Greetings, my brother Umoya. I am doing great. I hope you're in great spirits as well. As we like to say around here, we black and we shine.
Beautiful. So today's topic, we're going to be talking about blueberries and the power of the blueberry. So the first question is blueberry a fruit or a vegetable?
All right. Blueberries are a lovely, delicious berry, a fruit, and they pretty much grow around the world. They're fairly easy to grow. They're very climatic adapted. There are a lot of different species, but blueberries are not only tasty, it's one of the true superfoods of the fruit species that we can find.
Okay, so what vitamins does it contain?
Well, mainly the content of blueberries is going to be not only vitamins. Vitamin C is, of course, ubiquitous in many of these type of berries, and other vitamins, just as I can't say exactly, but it makes sense. Vitamin A, vitamin C, and then there's going to be a number of different mineral compounds. You find that when fruits are dark colored, they tend to fixate a lot of different minerals, of which iron is one of the things that's going to give it this rich, dark, reddish hue. But also they contain a compound that is it's not unique to blueberries, but blueberries is the highest concentration where you're going to find this essential nutrient, and it's called pterostilbene, with a P on the front of pterostilbene. And when we look at pterostilbene and what it does in the body, it is absolutely magnificent. One of the processes that it does is it induces apoptosis, which was the subject of our previous conversation, programmed cell death. Well, apoptosis happens in all of the cells of the body, but in this case, the compound pterostilbene, found in high concentration in blueberries, induces apoptosis in malignant cells, meaning it can tell cancerous cells, kill yourself and not harm the good cells.
All right, so I know you explained a little bit about, the vitamins, vitamin A, etc. Can you explain basically how each of these vitamins can help the body? Just
That's
elaborate a little
right.
bit more on
And
it.
and just real specific, I did find that some of my notes. I recently did the show on it. Blueberries are so rich in phytonutrients, and phyto means plant-based, so plant-based nutrients, that they provide as much antioxidant protection to the body as 1,733 IUs of vitamin E, very powerful immune
Mm,
modulator, and more than 1,200 milligrams of vitamin C. And
mm.
so it to get the full benefits of blueberries, it's recommended that you eat from 1 to 2 cups of blueberries a day to obtain the full health benefits of this amazing fruit. I have been recommending in the midst of this COVID pandemic hysteria going on that people try to eat about 4 cups of blueberries every week, and you're going to be doing much, much better than everyone else at boosting your immune system.
Okay. About how much water does the blueberry contain?
That's a good question. I know blueberry juice is very popular, so it's obvious it's going to be more than 50% water. And of course, you can get dehydrated blueberries are good to eat. They're tasty. You can add them to snacks or granola. You can put them in oatmeal and so many other places. And how much water? I'd have to go to check on some expertise to be able to give you that. But I would say, is it, if the question were asked, is it a hydrating food? Oh, absolutely. The more blueberries you eat, the more digestible, usable, hydrogen, oxygen you're going to have in your body.
Is it high in sugar? Can diabetics eat blueberries?
It's not necessarily going to be on the overly high extent of the glycemic index like maybe grape juice or apple juice might be, especially when they're concentrated. in their whole form, diabetics can eat apples. Diabetics can eat blueberries. Diabetics can eat grapes, especially the dark colored ones, and if they're organic, all the more better. Because one of the primary bases for the causation of diabetes is chronic inflammation. And so when diabetics eat sugar, sugar feeds inflammation. But in this case, the fructose naturally found in these fruits that are very high in antioxidants, which means that combats inflammation, you're actually accomplishing the good thing by eating these type of fruits. So not only can diabetics eat blueberries, it would be highly recommended for someone who wants to get over their diabetes by eating blueberries and getting rid of the inflammation, was the root of diabetes and other chronic diseases.
All right, so you mentioned antioxidants. Can you clarify what an antioxidant is?
Okay, our natural immunity within our body, constantly on the lookout and the fight against pathogens, uses a process called oxidation, or the redox process, to get rid of these pathogens. And so essentially what happens is when these pathogens are discovered, a certain set of molecules which have a free radical, meaning in their atomic structure, they have an extra, I think it's an extra atomic element. It's either proton or electron, extra electron that's charged up and is looking to bind to something. And so when your body sees these invaders coming in, it creates this unbound element which goes out, finds the pathogen, and then it shoots a bullet into that pathogen insofar as this unbound element, changing the molecular structure of that pathogen, therefore neutralizing it. It's then captured by other processes such as phagocytes, autophages, macrophages. They capture it and then take that debris out of the body. So it's a little bit of a complex process, but antioxidant is what your body does when it's done fighting the invaders. You have to turn this process off, this oxidation. You have to turn it off. Otherwise, it becomes indiscriminate, and now you're developing an autoimmune disorder as your overly aggressive immune system starts attacking healthy cells.
Hmm. Have you heard of or known of anyone allergic to blueberries?
I have no, I've never seen anyone allergic to blueberries. And if there are people who are allergic to blueberries, then that just means there's more blueberries for those of us who love them.
Oh, that's funny. How is the blueberry grown? And is it grown all year round or only in a particular season?
Yeah, blueberries are seasonal. They are perennial plants, so you can plant blueberry plants, and they will drop their leaves and go quiet in the winter. And then when springtime comes up, they'll bring back their leaves. So they are perennials, but they are seasonal. They love cooler, moisture weather. So in the United States, you're going to grow blueberries all the way from the northern border. I guess you could grow it all the way across the United States, but if you're growing them in desert regions, such as I live in Las Vegas, the heat and the dryness of the air is going to make growing blueberries more problematic, whereas in sweeter temperature climates, the berries will get big and fat and wet. If I were to grow blueberries in a place like Las Vegas, the plants would survive, but the berries wouldn't yield a lot of liquid.
Okay, so is it similar to like growing like a strawberry, like from the ground, like a bush type of thing or
Yeah, a
plant?
strawberry is a much smaller bush. It's on, kind of like a strawberry in the wild is ground cover, whereas a blueberry is going to be a bush, like Moses in the burning bush, where he got the tablets from God with the Ten Commandments
Right,
on it.
right.
It probably was a blueberry plant he was looking for at the time.
All right. What territory did the wild blueberry originate?
Ooh, I really couldn't put my finger on that, but I would say all over the planet, wherever you find that temperate climate zone, north of the equator by maybe 20 or so degrees of longitude, and south of the equator by about 20 degrees of longitude, going for about 20 degrees of longitude. So those parts of the planet where you're going to have cool winters and mildly warm summers is going to be an ideal place. But then again, you have your highlands around the equator, and they will be able to grow blueberries there as well. So where it originates, I would have to go into some research later to be able to answer that. But I do know many climates around the world support blueberries. The United States grows a lot of blueberries in places like Oregon and Washington, as well as in the New England area.
Okay. Do you think blueberries would be hard to grow at home?
Oh, I've grown them before. They're not so hard to grow at all. The key about it is getting the root plants established. And if I were living in Ohio to Tennessee, even Georgia, the East Coast or West Coast, I would definitely love to plant some blueberries. We planted a group of them at a permaculture laboratory in Pembroke Township, just south of Chicago, a few years. And we were helping the people who had created this Black Oaks Center of Renewable Culture. It was the campus. We helped them plant a bunch of blueberry plants as we were creating an outdoor amphitheater. We said, well, why not border the amphitheater with hedgerows made out of blueberries?
Wow. Okay. All right. Well, I think that's a bit about it for this topic, blueberries. Is there
Mm-hmm.
anything else that you want to mention? Social media, websites, what you're working on,
I
books,
want
etc.
Before I get there, I just want to just put a couple of things on why blueberries, which contain this compound called pterostilbene, and that's Ptero stilbene, is so important. Just a couple of points. It's talk about blueberries, pterostilbene, and longevity. Blueberries, if one is looking to create a longevity lifestyle, blueberries are one of the things you definitely want on your side as much as possible. Anti-aging pathway number one. It's a little technical, but it's not so bad. A molecular complex called mammalian target of rapamycin, mTOR, is currently a major focus of pharmacological research to slow aging, and for good reason. So they're finding that this process works to extend lifespan across multiple species, and they find that pterostilbene facilitates this compound. And with laboratory-bred mice that they tested this on, they were able to increase their longevity by about 20% in at least a quarter of the mice. Anti-aging pathway number two. While pterostilbene has been shown to naturally inhibit the mTOR pathway, it has been found beneficially active in a separate important pathway that is associated with an increase in lifespan and a decrease in degenerative disease. And this one is adenosine monophosphate activated protein kinase. Now, that's AMPK. But if you can decipher that sentence, adenosine, that's the energy formed by the mitochondria of the cell. That's the primary energy in the body. Monophosphate is just a form of adenosine, but monophosphate activated, I should say, protein kinase. And kinase, that's an enzyme. So when we're talking about protein kinase, we're talking about the fundamental process by which life inside of our bodies is generated through the creation of these proteins and energy in adenosine. So that anti-aging pathway itself, if you want to live long, disease-resistant, you eat the blueberries. And then the third part is the activating of anti-aging molecules, which are known as silent information regulators, SIRS, or sirtuins. And when these are activated, it shows that it has the ability to maintaining telomere length. Now, the telomeres are the ends of our chromosome strands. And when cells reproduce themselves, if the telomeres are intact and the chromosome strand is intact, then they make perfect copies of themselves. But as we age, telomeres start to degrade. And when telomeres degrade, the cells that are replacing themselves don't make perfect copies, and eventually we start to see organ deterioration as they're not maintaining the integrity of the cells that make up the tissue to make up the organs. But we now know, and pterostilbene is one of the most exciting pathways we know, that we can repair our telomeres. In essence, reverse the aging process. Since I've known this, since I've been living this, Brother Umoja, I say this with absolute confidence. I will turn 65 years of age this year, and I am physiologically younger than I was when I was 42.
Amazing. Amazing. Beautiful.
This is science, and this is why we want to study these things. And this is why living superfood is so important. Because as you and I know, we want everyone else to know, food is nature's most perfect medicine. So in this case, we've talked about one of nature's most perfect and delicious medicines. That humble little blueberry is a true superstar.
So where can people go to find out more information about living
I've been
superfood?
talking today about information that's in two of my books. One, Living Super in Paradise, where people can understand more of what goes on inside of the cell, Living Super in Paradise, as well as I have a whole book out on life extension, and we talked about that a lot today with the antioxidants, redox process, and these other things of free radicals. Free Huey, free Huey. No, that's not that type of free radical. That book is
Uh,
called Living Superfood Longevity, and that the subtitle of that book, Living Superfood Longevity, Master the Possibilities of High Quality Life Extension. You don't want to just live longer, my brother. You want to make sure that your extra long life now is of the highest quality possible. Hey, how many 65-year-old men can still boast and brag that on any given morning they're going to do from 130 to 170 push-ups in one set? Well, that's the way we're living because we know the rules of longevity.
Great. And can you just say the website one more time? Just
Living Superfood.com. Easy to find, Living Superfood, no S. And food is nature's most perfect medicine. And Brother Moya, medicine never tasted like this before.
that's right. So is there anything else, or should we wrap it up for today?
I think we've done a great job today. Yesterday, in spite of all this lockdown process, I had a group of people come. First Saturday of every month, I have a feast at my home, and we don't do amateur games. So the people who came, they realized, Katie doesn't even believe in that stuff. We had the most wonderful meal. So people, please stay connected. When you go outside, don't hug nobody. But as soon as people come over your house, hug everybody twice as hard to make up for lost ground. Because when we allow outsiders using bogus science to get us to stop showing empathy and compassion and collaboration and cooperation with our fellow humans, we become mentally sick in a very short period of time. Don't go out like that. Don't succumb to the paranoia, the fear, the panic, and the hysteria. They have their definition of false evidence appearing real, and we have our own definition of this. And in our own definition, we say beyond a shadow of a doubt, fear. F is forward thinking, planning, and acting for the future. E is evolving economic development to enable sustainability. A, Africa holds the resources to solve the world's problems. And R, restructure existing spending to repair ourselves. So that's our acronym for fear, and that's the kind of fear we want to spread, my brother.
Beautiful, beautiful. All right, Kitty, thank you for your time. Always appreciate you. Once again, this is the Living Superfood Show. Take care, and we'll see you next time.